Back to Midlife Explorer. It's another Friday afternoon of the Victoria Day long weekend in Ontario. So it's a long weekend for us Canadians. We are out for a bike ride today, although we're seriously thinking about getting back out in the kayaks and doing the Nith River today, but the water's just not high enough for where we want to go, because we wanted to do canning to Paris, which is some nice white water there. But we're on the bikes again instead, and we are riding the Otterbein Loop. So we're going to go from Cambridge, we're in Galt right now. We're going to ride up the west side, or the left side of the Otterbein Trail. It'll take us up into the back of Kitchener, up near Manitou. And then from there, we're going to follow Sneider's Creek and cut across to Stanley Park and work our way up to Bingham's campground, at which point we will jump back onto the Otterbein Trail and start heading back down the Otterbein along the Grand River. We've done most of this before. It's one of our favorite bike rides though, because you get to pretty much spend most of your time on the river, which we love. If we're not paddling, then next best option is to ride your bike along the river. There's lots of gravel paths here on the Otterbein, but wherever possible I'll sneak out and pull in a little bit of single track as well, because there's lots of options for single track on this bike ride to break it up a bit. So we're down at River Bluffs Park in Galt right now. You can park here instead of at the arena where we parked, and then head out from there. So it's 60 kilometer bike ride. GPS says 57, but we always get sidetracked when we're looking for the Otterbein, because you have to jump on the road sometimes to pick up the Otterbein again. So it'll ultimately be more than 60 when we're done. Both of our bikes, that's pretty much the limit of their range if we're using any assistance. So we have attempted to do the full length of the Otterbein up and back all the way up to the golf course, Great Silo. But in the past, we've only ever made it as far as Bingham's and then turn around and come back, which is what our plan is today. I think we'll be okay for range today, though. So the Otterbein Trail is continuing. It's just up to the left, the main trail. This is just one of the little side trails that you can take. And again, I'll be looking for little side trails all the way up and down. It's a warm one today. It's forecasted 27 degrees Celsius. It's quite humid. We had thunderstorms come through this morning. Unfortunately, not enough to get us out on the river, although there's plenty of water here if we wanted to paddle here. We're trying to prioritize paddling with current this year because we don't want to do any more damage to Gord's shoulder. I'm not sure how much longer Gord's shoulder's going to last, so we're trying to get as much as we can out of this season. And this is the main Otterbein Trail. We'll follow this for a bit now.
Well, that was a fun little start, David. Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw as much of that as I can along the way. It's gonna get interesting in a minute. If you're wondering why I got such a big bag in the back, I've got my spare toolkit because we're going to be a long way away from the car. I got some camera equipment in the back as well, but more importantly, we are going to have 3 stops along the way. So this is what we refer to at least as a 3-beer ride, although it's hot today, so I'm prepared for a 4th stop if necessary. That's why I've got the big backpack. It says stay on the main trail. I'm not listening. You all set? All right, good. We hike down this all the time. I'm going to suggest that for your comfort level, that's probably not a good idea.
I don't feel like carrying you up. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I'll let you go first. That's fine. Keep going. This one takes you straight back out to the main trail. Then turn right when you get to the main trail. Stay left. Now turn right. There you go. There's more trails in there, but we'll...
That stuff, I used to go with going to alley.
Yeah. There's some nice trails back there. So had you taken that second right, it comes back up over here. See, this is a good pace right now, this.
26.
So at this pace, this is us. I think our bikes would, if we were riding our rail trail at this pace, I bet you we can get 80 out of these bikes on a warm day like today.
Yeah, I know that.
80 kilometers. Well, we typically do when you and I get on the bikes. That's normally the reason why we're on the bikes in the first place is because we didn't want to get caught on the kayaks out in the river. No. Actually, the last time we rode this particular trail, we got soaked to the skin.
Yes. I remember.
When we did our Grand Tour of Cambridge, if you remember that. That was a good day, even though we got wet.
They're all good fun. Got the loop closed out at Colbert Street.
Why?
They're doing some renovation on the loop. And they got the thing closed because of homeless.
That's all right. My idea of the loop this time would be to go down the top part of the Grand Valley and get down to the bottom of Brantford, and then turn around and come right back up the same side of the river, but only come up on the technical trail. So now we cross over at the roundabout, and then the Otterbein, there's two ways of getting up to the bridge over the 401. And we'll go by the college for the first one. That's very nice of him. So what's all this? What are they growing here?
Wheat.
Hey?
Wheat.
This is wheat? All right, we're not going through the golf course this time. We're going to come back through the golf course. We're going to go this way, down the west side of Otterbein. Yeah.
A little bit of everything today.
Well, the last time we did this side of the trail, going up like we are, is when all the trees were down. We came the other direction with Mark that one time.
Okay.
But we've done this a couple times.
Are we going on the rocky part behind?
You bet, on the way back.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be pretty lucky. That'll be fine.
There's Pioneer Tower. Plenty of water in this river. I know. Well, we agreed last Friday that we were going to alternate because of your shoulder.
So true. So true. But there's always the, if it rains on Thursday, plans could change day, right?
Well, yeah. Hey, look, the minute the river hits 8 or higher on the canning, you know what we're doing. This was on our list last year. I wanted to do this ride last year, but we never got around to it.
Nope. We kayaked a lot.
We certainly did. All right, this is a big hill, but then there's a nice downhill after this. That's a climb. All right. This is the fun bit. You all set, boss? All good?
Buddy, I'm ready.
All right, man. Rock and roll. Just because you weren't winded enough.
Oh.
There you,
Quite over the last one.
you know you're gonna get your heart rate up. That goes with the program.
That was good.
Eh? Well, we could have stayed out there a little bit longer, but nice to tuck in and do a little bit of single track every now and again.
Some flat for a while.
All right. Well, that's all you're doing now until we get all the way over to the other side now. All right, we're gonna go up to Manitou and then follow the GPS from there, okay? On Sneider's Creek, we'll stop and have a break. Take a bench, any bench. I said take a bench, any bench. Well, that doesn't work out very well, does it?
Oh, it's freaking flooded. We can't catch a break today, man.
You got more juice than I got.